later. What is chip and what is not chip?
What is chip? Tell me what chip is.
Right now?
Yeah.
So what happens is my cat, Earl, loves chips. And when we have a bag of chips out, particularly tortilla chips, he'll come over and be like, oh, hey guys, what you got going on over here? Oh, chip? Huh. I really like chip. Let me just take a look in this bag. I'm just gonna see what's going on in this bag over here. I'm just gonna take a look. I have a chip. Ah!
And then like runs away.
And he runs away with the chip. And he'll come back like 3 or 4 times for chip.
This is the reason why I don't like cats. Also because they make me allergic and I literally die around them. But I don't like cats because they're too real. Like dogs are emotional and like you can see the sadness and happiness, but like cats, they got so much more emotions and I can't deal with that.
They're so complex.
I don't like it.
They're complex in a really fun way, but like, look at them. Oh, they're so cute.
Oh, that's horrible. Also, by the way, I've been recording this whole thing.
Awesome.
So if you're listening out there, my name is Mikey.
I'm Rachel.
And this is our first podcast. We have no idea what the hell we're doing.
But welcome.
Yeah.
It's the Brightside with Mikey and Rachel.
Yes. My name came first. She said it first, so we're going with that one.
I was trying to be polite.
Yeah, and
you're welcome.
I am welcome. I am very welcome. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about Lindy Hop and swing dance stuff.
Shocker.
And, yeah, right. Shocker. I know. No, we're gonna talk about science and the metaphysical world and the multiverse theory.
Absolutely.
On the bright side.
Absolutely.
No, we're not. I just brought that out of my asshole.
We're going to talk about really fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. In the process of making this whole thing happen, I made a Google Doc and Rachel put in some really funny, weird topics that I was not expecting. I'm not going to say them because, well, I'm going to say this one because we're not going to go over it. The relationships in the scene, what happens when you have a one-night stand.
Which is really funny because for anybody who knows me, I'm married and I've been with Brett for many years now, and I've never had a one-night stand in the scene. And so when I wrote this, I was like, well, this topic doesn't really apply to me, but I know Mikey will have tons of stories.
This is a dirty lie. This is a complete dirty lie, and we're moving on because that makes me nervous. Okay, so in this podcast, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. It's going to be weird. It's going to be fun, maybe informational, but like, in all honesty, I think in the podcast that I listen to, it's mostly just conversational, and we're just talking about some crazy bullshit, and yeah, we're going to curse, and we're going to use knives at each other. We're going to maybe throw some feces.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The usual.
It'll be fun. So if you're expecting to be learning something about Lindy Hop, maybe this is not the best podcast for you, but if you have some laughs about Lindy Hop, this may be the podcast.
You might learn some stuff. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. All right. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm a pretty smart person. I have the informations.
I have no
to
informations. Share. Yeah, they're really good. But I haven't seen you in like 4 months. Yeah, because I've been gone. So you were taking an improv class?
I've been taking improv classes at the Upright Citizens Brigade. I live in LA. And they've been so awesome.
What kind of stuff do they make you do?
They make you get up on stage in your first class, and they're like, your keyword is sailboat, go. And in that moment, you have to create a scene with a partner out of nothing.
What did you have to do that? Did they give you sailboat? Is that what happened? What did they give you?
No, there were I had like so many different keywords throughout the class. Like each class is 3 hours long.
Ow.
Once a week for 8 weeks. But so like in my show, for example, the keyword was hamburger. And so what happened in our show was somebody would have to go up and tell a true story, a monologue about something involving a hamburger. And so this girl went up and told this story about how in this town that she's from, they have this restaurant that sells like, it's kind of like In-N-Out where you can get like a single burger or like a double or a triple or a quad. Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
And
thank you.
You're welcome. Christ. And you could order these like quadruple hamburgers that were like ridiculously sized. And shortly after, like, I don't know, like the owner was like eating them a lot or something, but the end of the story was that he died of a heart attack, and it was somehow very ironic. And then we had to create scenes based on her story. And so I was the first person to go out, and I created a scene in which I was at a restaurant with somebody, and I was ordering like an excessive amount of food. I just like kept ordering more and more food. And meanwhile, the person who I was with on stage was like, I'll just have a water.
Oh my God, I hate that.
None for me, thank you. I'm not hungry.
That's the worst thing ever. That's actually happened to me because I was in Europe, and they order like some fries and a water, and I'm like, I'll have a burger and then I'll have some fries, and they're like, would you like the menu? I'm like, yeah, give me the drink too. And then like I had some chicken wings on that, and then they had these like cheese ball things, and I was like, yeah, give me a 9-piece of that. Cheese ball. And then as soon as they're like ringing it up, I could see the receipt come over. I was like, I'm not done yet.
You're like, hang tight, you guys. And then you order 29 more things, and then you're like, oh, also, can I have a Diet Coke? Gotta watch my girlish figure. Winky.
I mean, exactly, right? So like you were just channeling me.
Exactly. I went up and I was like, I am Mikey Pedroza in this moment right now.
I mean, I think a lot of people have said that in their lifetime.
I think so.
And they have no idea what it really means.
The really cool thing about these improv classes is that it's actually helped me with my dancing. It's caused me to be like a lot more creative on the floor in the moment. Like I just think of new ways of moving my body or new ways to complement the music in some way that I wouldn't have thought about before.
So like we danced last night. Did you use any of that last night?
Well, last night we were on like a really stupid crowded floor.
Yeah, we were at Clifton's,
and it was a very sticky floor.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but it wasn't even a floor. Like they put it down. They patchworked it. I think it was like they probably found a thing on Pinterest made it out of like cardboard.
If you live in LA and you haven't been to Clifton's, you totally should, just for the experience of being there.
That's right. I keep thinking in my head that you had already been to Clifton's before because like you live here. You've been living here a long time.
It was amazing.
And the thing was, and it was for me too. Like that was the first time. And again, like Rachel was saying, like, damn, that place is amazing. It's
kind of like the Rainforest Cafe, but from 1932.
And a little bit of now, like, because there was two things going on. Like, it's a multi-floor place, and you can look this place up online, and it looks amazing. So one part of it is a restaurant. Then the second part of it is more like a traditional, like, modern-day club, you might say, club atmosphere.
Yeah, like
with
a bar.
Like 2 bars and this cool stuff. And then the third floor is where they have, like, the dancing. And they have a band, and they have this shitty floor.
Ballroom, minus the beautiful floor.
Yeah, there's like an amazing vintage carpet on the ground, and it looks awesome. But then they put this little like dinky, shitty dance floor,
like a wedding dance floor.
Yeah, and there's so many people there, and then it's great. I mean, I'm all for people having fun and everything, and it just gets a little annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little annoying, and you get pumped and like kicked by these people, whether they're new. They're just like people just like experience it for the first time, so they're just like treating it like a club, and they just go out there and dance.
Yeah.
I actually appreciate those people a little bit more than the swing dancers I know that are just like trying to like look really fun and trying to look really big. And like,
I think what happens when you're in a non-traditional dance venue, at least in LA, is that people kind of let loose. They're like, oh, I don't need to have my good manners because I'm not around other swing dancers, and so if I bump into you, like, I'm not going to apologize because you aren't going to care, or you're not going to know the difference.
Yeah, that's true. I like when I like bump into someone like that's just having a good time and like holding their drink in their hand, and they're just like moving around. They're legitimately having a great time. But yeah, and I bump into them, they're not phased. But sometimes when you bump into a swing dancer, they give you the dirty look. You know,
ye old stink eye.
I dropped the first F-bomb.
There you go. There it was.
I did it.
I thought it might be me, but
no,
it was so you.
It was bound to happen.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I get a medal. I get a little medal like Pokemon. So, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about just real shit that we experience and other fun things that might happen.
Yeah, so we've got a fun topic today to talk about, right?
Yeah, we do. We decided right before, and it was one that
mere
Rachel,
moments before, in fact, you guys.
Seriously, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. I think this will segue into many different things, and it's if you never started swing dancing, what would you be doing? What would you be doing right now? So, Rachel, you go first. Like, tell me, like, what would you think you'd be doing?
Man, okay. Well, when I first when I was really started diving deep into Lindy Hop, I had just graduated from college. I had a writing job that was, I lived in Albuquerque at the time.
Where was that? What was the writing job at?
It was a place called Creative Content, and it was a...
For AOL?
It was a business. It was a company that created standardized exams for ESL students learning English as a second language. And so I was basically writing like SAT essay format questions. Like I would have to write an interesting paragraph about some fun tidbit, and then I'd have to write questions for these students to answer.
Wait, you were actually coming up with the questions and doing that? You weren't just kind of like copying it over?
No.
Oh.
I had to write questions. I mean, they had like certain formats, like write an inference question, write a multiple choice question, write like a whatever question. I don't even remember anymore.
So you'd be still doing that, you think?
Oh no. But what I was going to say is that like I remember being at this job, which was like a terrible fit for me, first of all, for so many reasons. But I remember sitting at this job, and all day long, all I would do is daydream about swing dancing, about like performing or like goals that I had, or like teaching professionally, or just anything other than what I was doing in that moment. I feel like if I wasn't dancing right now, I probably would have found some other active hobby.
Like what? Rock climbing.
I don't think I would have been a rock climber.
I mean, that's a fad right now. Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it,
Facebook.
But I have not done it. I've not done it once. I'm not interested in doing it because it is so faddish right now. I bet it would be fun. I did take up belly dancing for a while. Yeah. Maybe I would have gotten more into that. And I did take up African dancing for a while.
So you think you still would have gone into some kind of dance area?
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed dancing. Interesting. But I honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like at least my career path would have been totally different because I intentionally sabotaged a lot of my careers or jobs, if you will, along the way because I couldn't get out of Lindy Hop. I was like in it too deep.
Right.
What would you have been doing?
Oh man, that's so hard because like I was thinking about it. I was like,
you were so young when you started.
I was such a kid. I was such a boy.
How old were you when you started?
12-ish, 13-ish, somewhere around there.
Okay. So you didn't even like have any clue at the time.
No. I mean, I was literally still thinking about being a cop and being like a fireman and no, undercover cop because I can wear real clothes.
You wanted to be an undercover cop?
Yeah, and that's the only reason.
That's so funny.
I remember saying that to my mom, and she would tell that to other people. She's like, "Tell him what you want to be," like laughing under her breath, like, "Tell him what you want to be."
I have a second cousin who lives in LA who his career was working in Vice.
And that's undercover. You can wear whatever you want.
Well, he did, and fun story. He was at a comedy club. He was on stage doing stand up.
As part of his cover?
As a part of his cover. And it was a room of like, I don't know how many people were there, but he was like telling the story and they were laughing. And then he was like, "This is a raid. Everybody put your hands up." And they put their hands up and they're like laughing and chuckling. And then all of these cops start coming in, like filing into the building, and they think it's part of the bit. And so they're all just laughing and going along with it. And it ended up being a huge drug bust. And they arrested over 50 people.
Holy shit. Where was that, in Albuquerque?
No, it was in LA.
Oh.
At some comedy club in Hollywood, like on the Sunset Strip.
Oh my God, that's so weird. That's so weird.
How cool is that, though?
That is the coolest thing. It's like, gotcha.
Ha ha.
That's like the end of a comedy bit, and it's like, ha ha ha, and then everything stops.
Got you now, and now you're going to jail.
Yeah. If I wasn't swing dancing, I think in high school I was still thinking the whole dancing thing was still just a hobby.
Yeah.
So I think I was really, really into, and this is going to sound funny, but like I think a lot of people actually probably know this by now, is that I was in the audio visual club, and we were doing like morning announcements on the over speaker. Instead, we had it on the TV. we had our own closed network.
A closed circuit.
Yeah, a closed circuit, and we would just feed it into the classrooms, and we had like it was 2 reporters, and they would be reading the notes that we would post.
You know,
on
that's
there.
how Brett and I met, was in the AV department in college, because
In college?
because we both worked there. I like got a job there because I knew somebody who worked there, and it was like they were like, "Oh, it's the easiest job in the world."
See, that's the funny thing is like I vaguely talked about this with Brett a long time ago, and like he just kept going, and me like I remember being a junior in high school and going, yeah, I could be like a cameraman or work production. Like this is really fun and I really enjoy it. And I would do every once in a while. We would have like I would get in front of the camera, but like very very small bits, maybe to ask a question or to like my hand would go in and come back out or something. And yeah, we would work on like green screen stuff. I remember learning to light sets and like frame a picture better and
that's so
all that
cool.
kind of stuff. So like all that stuff is still in my head a little bit. So I watch like television shows or I watch like
you totally geek out on that stuff anyway as like a side hobby for you.
Yeah, oh, totally. With the show that I have on YouTube, Little Brown Jug Show, which I'm not sure if I'm going to bring back yet. It's a lot of work to do it by myself.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. There's a lot of work, and I know people watch it, which is hilarious to me sometimes. I'm like, I'm kind of
I can't believe people are actually watching me now.
I'm kind of like your cousin. I'm like standing up there like doing it. I was like, gotcha. This is all a lie. Everything's a lie. I just hit your fan, sorry. But yeah, like I probably be doing that, and I'm. It's so funny to do that because I remember my mom calling me Mr. Hollywood when I was like a little kid because I would be like very dramatic little boy, and like if a camera was on me, I'd be like, okay, so we're over here and we're doing this, and my mom and my dad have a ton like hours of me like on a cruise ship or on vacation or somewhere, and like I start talking to the camera, and it's just so easy for me
in the spotlight.
Yeah, and so she was like, of course you're a dancer.
Was there ever a moment where you were like, okay, Lindy Hop is my career? Or were you like one of those people who just kind of like fell into it and then you were like, oh, look at me, here I am?
A little bit of both. It was more like I fell into it because it was after Harangue one year, and I think it was like 2004, 2005. I went to Harangue for the first time, and then I was like, this is so much fun, and I tried to put more energy into it. Not to be like a career. I was just like, I want to win more contests. I don't want to like try this out and try this out. I just got more creative, I feel like. Yeah. And then I started getting people saying, like, you want to come teach? And I had never taught a day in my life. Like, I had assisted my teacher when I was a kid, like with a swing out or something. Yeah. But I never thought to teach. Like, it just wasn't a thing for me. It wasn't a thing back then, really, to, like, want to teach. And so I kind of fell into it a little bit. And then at some point, I kind of made that okay, I could, go to college and relearn all the things I had just learned in high school, which was annoying. And then, or I could go like teach in Nashville and teach in like Denver and like teach in this place. And
which is more appealing to me.
I was like Plains or like going to Saddleback College, which is like a high school part 2, the worst years. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. But yeah, so that's that. I don't remember what year that was when I made the decision to be like, okay, professional all the way. Writing emails and putting together routines for this event, or
promoting
partnering
myself.
People. Yeah, promoting yourself and all that stuff.
I could totally see you working on set though, or like being in like the editing room or something.
Yeah. I legitimately was thinking like it was like that. Like I was watching stuff on like early YouTube, like I was like, ooh, that's so much fun. And I would talk to my teachers for hours. My teacher who worked on Mr. Karnak, that's his name, Mr. Karnak. And he worked on, what is it? The Johnny Depp movie that they just did, but it was like the old version of something Shadows, Dark Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Dark Shadows. It was a soap opera about a vampire and his family that weren't vampires. But anyways, it's some weird shit. And he worked on the Olympics, and he would tell me all this stuff, and I'd be daydreaming. And I'm like, I want to do that stuff. That sounds amazing. Yeah. That sounds really cool. I could totally see myself. So now when I'm like on go to a music video and shoot, or like I see stuff on the side of the street in LA or Orange County or something, and I see production people doing stuff with that big tool belt. Yeah. With like shit ton of gaffer's tape on one side and like things that cut and things to like mend things back together, glue. Like I'm like I want to do that.
Scotch tape.
Yeah. I'm like, yes, exactly. Scotch tape. so glamorous to me. I'm looking, I'm like, ooh.
One day I hope to own Scotch tape.
In many colors.
If only. Double-sided.
I mean, sort of like, I mean, you do something for so long. For me, I've been dancing and doing this thing for so long, like more than I haven't been. So now that I look at that, I look at other things. I'm like, ooh, so glamorous.
Maybe one day when like your legs fall off or your arm doesn't work anymore and you can't dance, maybe you can go work in production.
Oh my God. That reminds me. I broke my foot once. I never broken anything before, and I broke a bone on my foot. And I was supposed to go to Harang that year, like just to have fun. And I think it was like 2008, 2007, something around there. 2007. And I couldn't go, and I was like depressed. I was so depressed. I spent it wasn't during the summer, so I spent 2 months in a cast. Ugh, and it was the first time ever I had ever.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, and I guess I was
21?
21, yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, anyways, so I was around there. I was 22. And So You Think You Could Dance was on. And I think it was the second season. And I spent the whole summer crying every routine, no matter what it was, like just going, I'll never be able to do that. Not to think that I was like, I wanted to be on So You Think You Could Dance, even though I kind of wanted to. But like, I was like, I'm never going to dance like the way I want to dance again and express myself. Like, I really had those thoughts.
That's so funny that you bring up So You Think You Can Dance, because when I had that writing job at Creative Content and daydreaming about Lindy Hop all the time, So You Think You Can Dance was like the big show on TV at the time. And I would watch it every week and be like, I want to be on this show. I want to be a dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, why didn't I start when I was 3?
Exactly.
Why?
You turn to your mom, you're like, why didn't you put me in ballet? I've had those thoughts too. I mean, like, I started way early, but like, So You Think You Can Dance really did something really good. Like Dancing with the Stars, I mean, whatever, people can like it, it's entertainment.
Sure.
I don't like it. I don't hate it, I just don't like it, because I'm just like, well, it's really about the celebrity and not really about the dance.
Totally.
And So You Think You Can Dance, they're putting these dancers who are really good at what they do, and then trying to see if they can form it to something else. The first couple seasons were a little rough, but like after the second season, they really got their stride and like felt like there was like hip hoppers doing ballroom, and there was ballroom dancers doing hip hop, and like the modern dances, and then the huge group numbers, and it also shined a light on the choreographers, which was really, really cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, and so like now there's this amazing, and at the same time, social media was popping up like crazy. So now there's like this like huge spotlight on these creators, these artists, these people that today are going to be considered in the future, I think, the greatest.
Well, I think So You Think You Can Dance has definitely helped with the resurgence of dance popularity in general. Yeah. Like so many more people now seem to have an appreciation for dancers than what they did beforehand.
Yeah, and Dancing with the Stars did help that as well, I think.
Yeah.
In some sense, because it
definitely hit like the older crowd.
Yeah, but it boosted the professional dancers.
Yeah.
Like they're off doing like crazy amount of things now, like
so
actors
cool
and musicians
things,
and starring in awesome shit. And I think no matter what, if I like it or not, we always go back to that media, the TV, basically someone seeing that, and like the Gap ad.
Yeah.
And like, of course it was really cheesy and really, really over the top, dramatic, but it did something. It lit a fire under people going, oh yeah, there's this thing out there. I mean, it could be it could have been any dance. And it just brought a whole new appreciation to the whole dance. And I remember starting and seeing the Gap ad. And then I remember So You Think You Dance starting, and I remember Dancing with the Stars starting, and every time those things happened, there was a big surge in like how many people took a dance lesson because they saw that. So whether I like it or whether someone else doesn't like it or not, or likes it or not, it doesn't matter because it helps.
It starts flames.
Yeah, and that's really dope. I really like that. I like that a lot. So I mean, we've been going for about 24 minutes. We don't know exactly how long we're gonna make this. We're shooting for like an hour sometimes. But
I was thinking like a solid 3 hours. Like, fasten your seatbelts, everybody, because this is going to be one wild ride. Yeah, remember the Titanic? It's going to be like that, but more dramatic.
I see icebergs.
Laughter,
I see
crying,
I see so many
icebergs, sinking,
That's good.
cheering.
Too soon?
Resolutions.
Too soon? Titanic jokes? Too soon?
Oh, yeah. way too soon.
So we're gonna go now into a new part of the show. Everything's new in the show, so it doesn't matter.
Surprise!
And it's gonna be since we're talking about So You Think You Dance, so like different dances and different stuff. So I'm gonna change the question, and this comes from actually my good friend Kelly Young. She says, "What are your favorite dance clips right now, swing or not swing related?"
Ooh.
So you go first.
My favorite favorite YouTube clips?
Yeah, like right now. Like name one. If you want to name a couple, you can, but like one that's really got your eye.
Okay. Ooh.
I got mine.
Yeah, why don't you go first?
All
Because
right, cool.
I honestly haven't been looking at like YouTube or the Facebooks
What's
that much.
wrong with you? You have a real job again, don't you?
Well, it's partially because I have a real job and partially because everything has been like so flooded with politics and yelling and anger and hate that I'm like, bleh, goodbye, Facebook.
I am kind of, I definitely agree with you. Like, there was sometimes I wanted to like comment or like post something, and I was just like, I don't want to right now because if I do anything, it's just gonna be attacked on, and I'm like, whether people are for it or against it, whatever. I just wanted to read it.
Too much.
Yeah. So I feel you on that. But I've been escaping that through YouTube.
Okay.
So that's why. So for me right now, and it's the Keanu Marie like whole book that they have you heard about this?
No.
So you know Keanu Marie, right? The hip hop dancers. They're like a husband and wife.
Were they on So You Think You Can Dance?
They were choreographers.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
They were the really cool hip hop routines.
Yeah, they're amazing. They live in San Diego and they travel around the world, much like how like the Lindy Hoppers do, but like in their sense in their world hip hop. But they do so many amazing things with it that they make hip hop, which is traditionally like kind of a solo dance or like a group piece, into very partnered.
Yeah.
And they bring so much
like
real
super
emotion.
Interactive.
Yeah. So much real emotion. And it's not always just like lovey-dovey or like there's a really good trend in hip hop right now of trying to be aggressive, like really aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're aggressive, rather aggressive, not the right word for it. They're sharp with their movement without being super aggressive, and they do it together, like they're interacting together, and they have moments where they actually do touch and hold on to each other and lead each other into different things. Nothing like really crazy, but like, you know, pulling from one point to another or doing a turn and like catching each other in different moments. It's really amazing. They have a ton of stuff, and if you follow me on any social media, you've probably seen me post it a couple times, but they just released a 15 days in June. Every day they came out with a different dance video.
Whoa.
that they thought up from a song to a concept to then shooting the video with their friend Jeremy, who's a director of film, you know, stuff like that. And they shot it, and they're so beautiful. They're so wonderful. Some of them are so easy that like they just did it on a stage on one of their like dance weekends, the World of Dance weekends, and other ones are like they went out to like who knows where into the desert and filmed on top of rocks and filmed in the middle of like who knows where. Like,
That's so cool. Yeah,
it was insane, and they managed to get this emotion out of me that is very real, and I forget myself where I am, and I focus so much. And for me to focus it takes a lot. And I don't know, they struck a chord with me, and they always have. But with these videos, they did something else. They took it to a different level that inspires the shit out of me, and I just want to be like, oh my god, I want to do something like that so bad, and it's so amazing. And so yeah, like all their videos, and the book is called Preface. You know, like before, right?
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Like in that sense, because afterwards they announced this like whole project on Kickstarter that was they're gonna make an interactive dance book.
Whoa.
So like on your iPad or like whatever reader, they're gonna have like a story, and then it includes music that they produce as opposed to music that they're using from another artist, like music that they build together with another artist as well, and then dance videos based off the story. So like in the whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So they did a Kickstarter, and it just finished, I think, yesterday. And they totally made their goal and then some.
Wow.
So I'm really excited to see where that goes, and I totally backed it. But yeah, so Preface, it's 15 videos, and some of them are like 5 minutes, and some of them are just like a minute and a half. But they're all amazing. They're all different, and so many different genres of music you're gonna hear on there, and inspiration fucking everywhere. I love it.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's me.
Mine are like not nearly as interesting. It's like mostly like animal videos that I see other people posting.
That's
like,
probably better.
Like the one of like the baby bunnies in the jars. That one that keeps getting recycled.
But that sounds hilarious.
So YouTube videos always have like life cycles. They come, they get really popular, then they go away for like a year or two, and then they come back around, they get recycled.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
So I saw this one like a couple of years ago, and now it's like back in my feed constantly. It's like 4 little baby bunnies, like tiny, tiny bunnies in these mason jars, and they're all sleeping, and it's just them like wiggling around in the jar.
But like they are sleeping, or
They are
is this
sleeping.
video gonna take a sharp turn to the left?
No. They're just sleeping. Like they're small enough to fit into the jar.
All right.
They're like
I was scared for a second.
They're like sitting comfortably in the jar.
And it's just a video of them just
sitting in the jar sleeping. And like occasionally they move or like wiggle their nose.
So this is what you've been watching instead of like the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention?
Yes. That is correct. Brent and I have also we have set a new goal for ourselves, which is to watch a lot of classic movies. He has this cool. This like 50 movie box set from the Criterion Collection, I think, or something.
That sounds really fancy.
And it is very fancy. Although I was super against him buying it when he bought it. He was like, "Hey, I bought this thing," and I was like, "But we have most of these movies." And he's like, "But no, it's in a fancy box set." And I was like, "Was this necessary?"
# marital issues.
Seriously, the struggle is so real sometimes. You have no idea.
Oh my God. If anybody out there knows Brett and Rachel, the fights you guys get into. I mean, they're not fights. They're not fights. They're like the little conversations you guys get into are hilarious to me.
The situations that we have.
Every time I'm around you guys, I just want to have like popcorn ready to go, just like watching it. I just be like, what is she going to say? What is she going to say next? What is he going to say?
Well, so the first one we watched was Sunset Boulevard.
All right.
Which, if you have never seen it, it's
I
a
haven't.
classic.
I mean, I know it's Brando. Right?
No. It's
No, it's not. Fuck. I try to sound real smart.
I don't know who's in it. I don't know the actor.
No, it's the lady, right? I'm ready for my close up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the famous line. Yeah. Classic noir. Really good. It was not anything that I was expecting Sunset Boulevard to be. We're currently watching The Grand Hotel from 1932. It has Greta Garbo.
Other people.
What is that other woman's name? Joan Crawford.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I love Greta Garbo so much. She's my favorite vintage actress. Probably because she's much like me. She's like spunky and sassy.
Is she the one that had that like weird speech pattern? Like it's very different.
No, she's
like,
just
why don't you come up and see me sometime? Like that thing, isn't it? No.
No. I don't think that's her.
God, I'm striking out so much right now.
So hard. It's a super good movie. It was the first movie that had an ensemble cast, like an all-star cast, and it was the first like true comedy or something like that. Anyway, it's a great movie. But Greta Garbo is like, she's so expressive and she's like so confident and so herself on screen. Like it's just really inspiring to watch her. She just really takes charge of every scene she's in, even if like her character is very passive.
You know, it's really funny. I don't know if I've seen a movie with her in it. I've heard her name many times.
So many times.
So like that makes me want to go watch it, like or something with her. I mean, even just last year, I watched my first Audrey Hepburn movie.
I've never seen an Audrey Hepburn movie.
I would say start with
classic.
Breakfast
at Tiffany's.
No, not that one. Before that one, when she was a little bit younger, she was Roman Holiday.
Oh.
I found that really funny.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. And I love the ending. Spoiler alert. Like, it's 70 years later. Spoiler alert. Just in case for anybody who hasn't seen it. It's Atticus Finch.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I can't think.
Everyone out there is going to be like,
name.
they're idiots. I'm not listening anymore because they don't know who this is.
Everybody's like, these are the names of the actors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
I could just see.
Oh, I can't think right now. Didn't take my Ginkgo Bilboa today.
Ginkgo Balboa?
My Ginkgo Balboa.
We brought it back to dancing.
Oh,
anyways, what's the name? Atticus Finch is walking down a hallway, and it's a very long scene, but you just see this like roller coaster of emotion that it feels like he just relived in like 30 seconds. It's like a 30-second scene where he's just walking, and the camera's at a low angle and it's just catching him as rolling back. It's freaking gorgeous. I'm just like, this is beautiful. Like this is a classic film. No wonder it's a classic film. Like it just ends in such a, I don't know, like a very soft way. Like you wouldn't imagine that was the ending. I was like, that was the ending. That was it. I love that. I love that.
That was it.
But yeah, so I definitely feel you with that. But now we're gonna bring it out to the end of our Brightside podcast here, and we're gonna try to end every podcast with this kind of little thing of like. So we talked about a lot of stuff and could have been good or bad or whatever, but we're gonna end it with a bright side type of thing. So Rachel, what's your bright side? That's the theme music from now on. One more time.
Boop-a-da-boo.
Time for the bright side. That's good. There we go.
The bright side.
Things are happening.
Bright side. We're gonna take a look at the bright side. Yeah.
Those improv classes are really paying off.
You're welcome, you guys. I'm here all week. Boom.
So, Rachel, what do you think is the bright side of this podcast?
Man, we covered so much stuff.
We did.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the whole moral of the story is that I'm glad I'm dancing? Question mark?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I really, really like that one. That's a really good one because we did talk about the topic of
what would we be doing now?
Yeah, and it's really hard to think about sometimes. But I mean, yeah, you'd probably be thinking about dancing.
I hope I wouldn't be writing. I thought it was going to be a great career for me. And it was like anybody who knows me would be like, this is the exact opposite career that she should be in.
But I mean, like, you were good. It's just the experiences that you had, I feel like.
Yeah, but like I also like I can't sit at a desk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't sit in silence for 8 hours a day. Anybody who knows me knows I talk a lot.
Yeah.
It is very true. It is a real struggle.
Hence the podcast that we're on now.
In silence for so many hours a day. I would go home like so downtrodden being like, no one talked to me today.
Very Eeyore.
I was quiet.
Is that why you talk to your cats so much?
So well behaved. I talk to them constantly. Oh, but they talk to me too.
I shouldn't have brought the cats up. Oh, those fucking cats. I'm actually, I didn't tell you this because I wanted to save it for the podcast. I'm itching my forehead because I scratched it by accident, and now my forehead, it feels like it's throbbing like this the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, because you know, like a little bit of dander.
Could also just be from, sweaty. We had to turn off my air conditioning to do this, you guys, and we're sitting in like my armpits are so wet now, and like I'm sitting like a mama hen with her wings out, like deflated and hot, like trying to cool off.
The funny thing is, I think at some point, like I want to like just also video us and put this on YouTube and just kind of overlay this, and everything's gonna be shown because I've been watching you do that the whole time. Like right now,
anything I can do to get my armpits slightly cooler is a good thing because they're like dripping in sweat. But so anyway, what I was gonna say is that when you get sweaty and then you scratch your skin, you cause, like, when you scratch yourself, you cause like tiny microscopic cuts in your skin, and then when the sweat gets into it, it gets really itchy, and so it causes you to scratch more.
Yeah, but that yes, absolutely, but it
I just
only
also want to
when
say that I have two cats, and we've been in my apartment now for a few hours. Mikey has not.
I sneezed once. No, I sneezed once. I did sneeze once. You were out of the room. You did
sneeze once. I did hear you. Okay.
But, I'm doing okay.
No coughing.
I'm doing okay.
No red eyes.
No, I've been stuck in this kitchen. And itching, yes. The itching,
I mean, yes. I did clean. I do clean my house. I believe you. It's not about. I'm not a fucking heathen. I don't live in disgrace. I'm not like a cat lady who just has 100 cats and like 500 bowls of food and
you're getting
and
there,
3
though.
litter boxes.
You're getting there.
It's just the two. It's just the two and a husband. Like that's a challenge too.
So enough about the cats. God damn it, it makes me itch. It makes me really feel like
just thinking about it. Makes me gag a little.
My bright side of this podcast, I think, would be watching I think it'd be watching different dance clips like that. Like I brought up the hip hop clip, and then but also maybe non-dance clips like you just brought up, like getting that feel of what it meant to be different. Because those movies back then were different. They were
so different,
they
and
weren't
the
done
acting
before.
was very different.
But no, they were like kind of experimental in some way. Like
they were, yeah.
That's like a really bright side, and that's really where my mind is at. It's like watching history and like when things turn, basically, you know, when we talk about the golden age of cinema or something, you know, those movies are the ones that people bring up all the time, and I haven't seen some of those. Maybe I should go back and look at them just to get my mind in that different space.
Yeah.
As a kind of creator like that.
Just seeing them, like seeing how these actors performed back then, like the way that they would express emotions on their face or move their bodies is so different than how actors do it today, and it makes me think so much about like how I move as a dancer.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's our podcast. But we're gonna leave it at one last little thing today. I'm gonna ask you, Rachel. This is kind of a last minute thing. What event are you going to next? Dance event.
Oh, my next dance event is ILHC.
ILHC. Me
How
too.
Did you know I was gonna say that? Oh,
I think we
like
just bonded.
Besties. We're like so close.
Totally
like
bonded.
Mikey and I are totally like this, and you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm crossing my fingers. Like we're so close. Like we're so totally so close right now.
I have never met anybody who makes me laugh so much as Rachel, and I'm so happy we started this podcast. We've been talking about it for like a good 2 years probably now. And
it's been a long time, you guys.
I literally texted you Monday, I think, and I was like,
Yeah.
"We're doing it on Saturday.
What
are you doing?"
Now.
Yeah,
and it's
it all
funny
happened.
because I was like, "Oh yeah, Mikey's a lot of talk, not a lot of walk. Like I'll believe it when I see it."
What?
And even
No way.
yesterday, he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come up to LA tomorrow. We'll do our thing." And I was like, "We'll see."
Yeah.
And then he actually showed up, and now we're doing it. And I'm
And
like,
do it.
"Okay, well, we'll see."
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, it was a long time coming, and it's I'm a big talker. So that's our podcast for now. Remember the Brightside. I don't know where I'm going to be posting this. Probably on SoundCloud for now. I think that's the best way.
If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns or ideas of things that you want us to talk about, just send it to us on Facebook. Yeah, send it to us on Facebook.
We're probably going to start something like a Facebook like page, and then you can always hit me up on Twitter at mpedroza on Twitter, and you can always look me up on YouTube as well. I have 2 different channels. I have one that's kind of just super douchey all about me, video of me, and that's whatever. That's a cracked Oreo one, or you could just type up my name, Mikey Pedroza. And then there's another one, the Little Brown Jug Show, which is fun. It's kind of informative. I tried to be as much as Philip DeFranco and SourceFed as I could be, and it came out away. So.
And you can look me up on YouTube, but you'll probably just find silly clips of me dancing around.
Which we might have to do more of. That'd be great.
We should.
Just make up a douche. A
douche.
Rachel Dahlenburg.
Oh, we should. It would be so much fun.
And then we put you in a mason jar and watch you sleep.
I just might be able to do that. Wait, you see.